Welcome everyone back to another video on the channel. Today is the 3rd of October, the day before free agency opens, and I'm doing another mock draft, the player movement draft, I guess you can call it. I guess you can also call it September edition, whatever, but it is based on what I know on the 3rd of October. James Peatling has just requested a trade to Adelaide, so that's the most recent change I've made to the draft. So this includes hypothetical trades, includes compensation, includes live trades. Well, not too many live trades, but a few of them that I think will make a difference on the draft itself. And yeah, I've got most of the recent trades as well, so let's get straight into it. So we'll start with the free agency side of things. We've got 4 free agents moving clubs in this hypothetical world, I guess. St Kilda getting band 1 for Josh Battle, band 2 to GWS for Harry Perryman, band 3 to GWS for Isaac Cumming, and band 3 to Richmond for Jack Graham. So those are the 4 guys I think will move. Bit of speculation about Battle and Perryman, whether it's band 1 or 2. But this is what I've had for the past couple of months. I've always thought Battle would be band 1 and Perryman would be band 2. I think Perryman might be able to be pushed up to band 1, but even if it is, I don't think it has too much effect on the draft, because Giants would end up getting 16 instead of like 19 or something. So it's only a 3-pick change. So yeah, I've kind of just left it as it is. Battle would have a big impact, but it is still 50-50. I'm just going to stick with what I've got this entire time. We've got, updated trades. So I've added in Luke Parker since the last video, James Peatling, Dan Houston, Jack Lukosius, Dirksen, O'Halloran. I've ignored the more insignificant trades, so guys like Tom Cleary, Connor Stone recently, Finn McGuinness, all those types of names, I've ignored them, because they don't really have much of an impact on the draft. Because in the end, this draft is to try and get the draft ranges out for each player rather than specifically every single club. I do try to take into account club needs, but you know, I'm not the recruiter for 18 clubs, so I can't do a very good job of that. So I've kind of just tried to make it as close to draft ranges more than draft picks themselves. Yeah, and then the other trades here, you guys can have a look through. Neil Bullen, Haynes, Carroll, Noble, Richards, Bolton, Smith, Lukosius, I've said that, Rioli, Dirksen, O'Halloran, Peatling, Haynes, Barris, Houston to North Melbourne rather than Carlton, because I don't think Carlton can afford him. Soldo, Baker, Patton, McRae, any names I've missed, they're all here. So these are all the trades I've done. You guys can slowly look through them yourselves, but I won't touch on them anymore. Live trades, we've got a few here. I've only done it for kind of the first 3 rounds, not fully comprehensive, but I've just gone with the trades that I think would have an impact on the draft order, in my opinion. So there is a bit of St Kilda bias there, but yeah, that is how I've done it. So without further ado, let's get straight into the draft. So starting at pick 1, I think the Tigers will bid on Levi. Oh, I don't think they will, but I think they should bid on Levi Ashcroft at pick 1. I think due to the prize for pick 1, I think Richmond will take their preference for pick 1 from the open pool at pick 1 rather than bidding on Ashcroft. But I do think Ashcroft is the best player from the draft crop this year. He had a massive finish to the season, massive grand final as well, which really stamped his label as the pick 1 favourite. So I've got him going to the Lions at pick 1. Pick 2, Richmond take Jagger Smith. He's been front runner for quite a couple of months now. He's just been such a consistent performer, and I think he's ready made for the Richmond midfield. Pick 3 is when the first live trade occurs. So North Melbourne trade their pick 2. It is pick 2 right now, to Richmond. Richmond trade their pick 6 from Dan Rioli from the Gold Coast, and pick 10 from Fremantle for the Bolton trade. So pick 2 for pick 6 and pick 10 is the first live trade. This is so North Melbourne can go back in the draft to get tools, but that also means Richmond can climb up the draft order and they take Finn O'Sullivan at pick 3. He started the season as the pick 1 favourite, and due to some injuries he's kind of slipped a bit, but I still think Richmond should take him. He played with their VFL side. He showed how much of an attacking threat he is off half forward, and he's also a great midfielder as well for an 18-year-old. So Jagger Smith and Finn O'Sullivan to really try and bolster that Richmond midfield for the next decade. I think is a very dynamic duo. Pick 4, West Coast takes Sid Draper. He's been linked to Adelaide, but I think West Coast get in first. He's got that leg speed to break away from stoppage, so Reed, Draper, Hewitt is going to be a very dynamic trio going forward, and then Jimby there as the kind of more accountable defensive mid. I think that's a really appetizing group of 4 in the midfield for West Coast, so I think they'll be willing to do that. Pick 5, Adelaide takes Sam Lawler. Has been injured for a lot of the season, but he has shown his talents, and I think he's a really good fit for Adelaide. They've obviously got Jordan Dawson, who's the more classy ball user, taller type of player. They've got Rankin as the speedy 50-50 mid. Rochelle can also roll through there. They've got Saligo as the contested ball winning beast. But Lawler is that powerful, able to break tackles type of player. Can also go forward and take a contested mark, which I think Adelaide lack. So yeah, good pick for them. Pick 6, Melbourne take Murphy Reid, best hands in the draft. I think he suits their midfield really well. With Oliver probably leaving, they need an extractor, and I think Reid can do that with his hands. Just like Oliver, they're both elite handballers. Pick 7, North Melbourne on the clock after that live trade. They take Harry Armstrong as a key forward. Lead up type of player, works really hard, kicks goals from limited touches, so he's very damaging. I think he's a good partner for Larkey going forward. I think Larkey being a full forward and then Armstrong as that second tool really benefit Armstrong if he doesn't have to be that first string key forward. Pick 8, St Kilda on the board, and they bid on Gold Coast's Leo Lombard. So yeah, academy player, he's been talked about all year, going to Gold Coast. Played 2 years of VFL, ready-made for the AFL. I think if St Kilda, if Lombard was in the open pool, I think St Kilda would take him. So yeah, they bid on him here, and Gold Coast happily bid on him. St Kilda up next with their actual pick, and it's Harvey Langford, 190 centimeters, huge season. After kind of being the second round range at the start of the year, his draft stocks have really risen after a really prolific season. He won the Lark medal, so yeah, that's a reflection of how good of a season he's had. 190 centimeters, gets around the ground, highly skilled. So yeah, I think he'd go really well alongside Philippo and Windhager going forward. Pick 10, St Kilda back on the board with Josh Battle compensation, and they take Josh Smiley. Was in pick 1 contention, but after a quiet champs, he's dropped down a little bit. I have St Kilda taking him because he's drawn comparisons to Tom Green, who did also have a down champs as well. Similar types of players, contested beasts, big-bodied mids. So if Smiley can get anywhere, well, if Smiley can get to Tom Green's level, I think that's a big win at pick 10 for St Kilda. Pick 11, Essendon on the board. They take Xavier Lindsay as kind of the best ball user in the comp, I think, in my opinion. He's just the best ball user in this crop, and can play inside, can play defense, can play outside. I think he's a good fit for the Bombers, who do lack a bit of skill on the outside. Then at pick 12, North Melbourne take Luke Traynor, arguably the best key defender in this year's draft crop. Has had some concussion issues over the past month, which has meant he's slid down the order quite a bit. But with North Melbourne sliding back to pick 12 and having issues with their key posts on their AFL list, I think Luke Traynor at pick 12 is still pretty good value, especially if he can get over these concussion issues. He's a fantastic kick. He intercepts extremely well, and he's a good size, so eventually could be trained to be more accountable for a man. So I think as a third tall, this is a great get for North Melbourne. Then at pick 13, Fremantle take Bo Allen as WA boy. 191 centimetre midfielder slash defender. I think he'll start his career at half back, and I think that is a position of need for the Dockers since Hayden Young moved into the midfield. I think there's a spot for Allen at half back to go alongside the likes of Clark and Ryan as distributors out of the back half for Freo, and then eventually he can move into the midfield alongside Young and Sarong and Brayshaw. Yeah, so I think he's a really good size, and I don't think the Dockers have a midfielder of that size. Obviously Fife is there, but he's at the end of his career, so it's a good pick for the Dockers. Pick 14, Carlton picked Toby Travaglia. Very competitive, aggressive, speedy halfback. Can free up Adam Saad to move into the midfield. Carlton pursuing Dan Houston at the moment, so there's clearly a want for a halfback, and if they don't get him, I think they can easily pick Travaglia here. Pick 15, this is another live trade, so this is originally tied to Gold Coast, but they obviously need to trade this pick to avoid it being absorbed for Lombard. So St Kilda pounce with their future first. I think Gold Coast would be very pleased to get St Kilda's future first for this pick, considering St Kilda will probably be projected to finish in the bottom 6, so it'd be a top 6 pick at the moment with the projections. And St Kilda will be happy to get another pick into this year's first round, and they take Taj Houghton out with an ACL injury this year, but high upside. In the first month of the season, he did show off how talented he is, and I think the Saints will find that very appealing. His brother already there as well, so I think this is a good fit for St Kilda and Houghton. There's obviously a lot of clubs interested for this pick, but I've just got St Kilda doing it because I think that's the most appealing deal to Gold Coast. Pick 16, Richmond back on the clock, and it is Alex Taru, 191 centimetre defender, third tall, can also play forward. His leap is insane, and I think Richmond will be happy to try and pair him with Gibkiss going forward in that key defensive post. And then they obviously have a few other key defenders as well. Pick 17, GWS on the board, but they bid on Essendon's Isaac Kako, which is matched. Small forward, not much more to say about that. He's X Factor, probably equal best small forward in this year's crop. Pick 18, GWS again, they bid on Brisbane Sam Marshall, so best on ground in the Sandy Dragons Coach Talent League Grand Final. Really Rose's draft stocks with that performance was really good, playing inside mid. So yeah, Brisbane get another good kid there. Pick 19, GWS finally pick Harrison Oliver, so halfback, coming replacement, good user, can intercept, and probably the best, one of the best ball users in this crop as well, alongside Lindsay, and yeah, probably second best halfback behind Travaglia. Pick 20, Joe Berry, taken by the Bulldogs, so small forward, probably equal as Kako as the best small forwards in this year's crop. He's got X Factor, he can kick goals from anywhere, and he's very agile, mobile, so I think the Bulldogs need some more forward 50 X Factor, and they get that with Berry. Pick 21, Richmond back on the board. They take Joe Shanahan, so this is a key forward. He's powerful, he can take marks, he's good size, played in the VFL and scored bags of goals as well. I think 12 from 4 games, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So very good mature body to slot straight into the Richmond lineup going forward in a position that I think is a big weakness for them at the moment. Pick 22, Sydney, after losing the grand final, they've got a really strong list. So I think they'll just go for best available and best game-winning talent, and that is Cooper Hines, can play mid-forward, X-Factor and speed, which suits the modern game perfectly. And that's the end of the natural first round. Then we've got the North Melbourne compo picks, or priority pick. Sydney with the first one, and they take Matt Whitlock. So this is the first of the Whitlock brothers. He's the one that can play fullback or full forward, and I think that will appeal to the Swans with his versatility. They probably need a bit more young talent in the tall department, and Matt Whitlock suits that perfectly. And at 24, Collingwood take Jack Whitlock, so he's the full forward. And Collingwood obviously have a need for big focal points up forward, and Jack Whitlock is that man. Pick 25, Lockie Jakes to GWS. This is a Perryman replacement, so he's good defensively. He's a good kick. I think he took kick-outs for Vic Country, so obviously trustworthy with ball in hand, and can intercept as well. 184 centimeters, so a solid size. So that's the end of the first round. We'll move on to the second round, so I'll get to this Excel spreadsheet. So I'll see you guys on the other side. So start of the second round, Richmond open the drafting, and it is Oliver Hannaford going to Richmond. So he's risen up draft board significantly late in the season after he's moved from half back to the forward line. He's really shown off his X factor, and I think he will push the first round now. Richmond up again, they get Tom Gross, so half forward, can play midfield as well. 28, North Melbourne take Jonty Fall, so full forward to partner alongside Armstrong and Larkey going forward. Each three of them bring their own set of attributes, which is why I've done this. Some might say this is a bit heavy in the key forward area, but Fall is kind of that lead up competitive key forward. Armstrong is more stay at home but can lead as well, and then Larkey is obviously that contested marking player, but Armstrong and Larkey can all three of them can take contested marks, I think, but Larkey is that kind of, I think he's 200 centimeters around there. Yeah, the big vocal point. Then at 29, at West Coast take Hamish Davis, so he has climbed draft boards as well, can play midfield, forward, wing. Versatile, and he's just a big body, and I don't think West Coast have enough of those types of players, so I think they'll be happy to take the local talent there. He can win games, kick goals, very good player. St Kilda up with Alex Dodson, so this is the best ruck in the pool. I'm not sure if they'll actually be looking for a ruck, might depend on Soldo, but I think either way Dodson will be a good pick considering how good of a ruck he is. Could be a Marshall successor, so he can slowly develop in the background while Marshall kind of comes towards the end of his career. Pick 31, GWS take Christian Moraes, so he has slid a lot since the start of the year. Was a potential top 10 pick, but his ball use kind of lets him down, but he is a very speedy outside player, can also play inside, and I think the Giants just would take best available at this point, and Moraes I think has a lot of upside in that space if used correctly at AFL level. Pick 32, Richmond take Jesse Detoli, high IQ forward, half forward, alongside Gross, who's that more contested player. I think Detoli's the more creative one, and then Hannaford's the X factor one. So that's their whole forward line sorted out within like 6 picks, and then plus Joe Shanahan as the focal point up forward. Then GWS up next again, and this is Pat Rechko, so a two-way runner, can play inside as well. I think this is a more role kind of based, kind of appealing replacement in some sense. Then West Coast pick 34 take Kale Jarine, so he's key forward ruck, and big body, mature. He's shown ability to, I think he's played Waffle seniors, so he has had a taste of senior football, and he performed okay in it. I think he kicked 2 goals in one of the games, so he has shown ability to play at the senior level, and I think he's got a lot of development to go as well. So there's clearly a high upside with him, and West Coast should try and bring the best out of him, while Waterman and Allen can continue to patrol the forward line at AFL level. Pick 35, Tyler Welsh is bidded on by Hawthorn, so Adelaide matched that bid. Pick 36, Hawthorn take Thomas Sims, so key forward who can also roll through the ruck, good overhead, can kick goals, and he's just a very, I guess, raw prospect who has a lot of upside. Pick 37, Carlton direct bid on Ben Campriali. If you haven't watched my last drafts, a direct bid is basically just me trying to make the club pay up the equal value for the player rather than splitting it for a ton of picks and just making it hell for me. So yeah, I've just direct bidded because Carlton wouldn't get this pick anyways because they would have split it with someone. So yeah, 38, Bulldogs take Angus Clark. So this is kind of a Caleb Daniel replacement if he leaves, but either way I think this is still a good pick for the Dogs. Richards has moved into the midfield, so there is a bit of a hole there. Fraser did move there, but I think Fraser could also play on the wing. So Clark slots in 188 centimeters, so good size. And yeah, I think he can intercept. He's a good ball user. Can rebound as well. So he's quite a versatile defensive prospect. Can probably play on the wing as well. Sort of like what Bailey Williams has done for them, moving from half back to the wing. Pick 39, Collingwood bid on GWS ruck Logan Smith, so he's tied to the Giants from their academy. Probably the second best ruck in this year's pool. Big body and can win hitouts. So yeah, probably just develop behind Briggs. Pick 40, Harry O'Farrell to the Pies. So this is a much needed key defensive prospect to the Pies. He can lock down, he can intercept. His intercepting is really good. He can also roll forward and kick goals, so he's a bit of a versatile player as well. So this is a very, very useful pick for Collingwood, I think. And at pick 40, it's a bit of a bargain as well. Pick 41, Fremantle on the clock. They take Jasper Alga. So this is a pressure, small, creative forward with a good IQ. Pick 42, Fremantle again. This is Freo trading the second round pick tied to St Kilda to GWS for their third and the third round compo. So it's basically this pick, Pat Rechko, and then Freo get these two. So it's just to let GWS climb the boards because I think they have too many picks. So I might as well package them up and try and get them higher up. And then I think I missed explaining the other one, Gold Coast second for Richmond's third and West Coast third. So Gold Coast second is here, and that's how Richmond got to Tolly. So look out for that one. But we'll move on. So Fremantle follow up Alga with Bailey McKenzie. So this is a Sandringham Dragon, third tall forward, good above his head, good goal kicker. Just doubts over his size, but kind of a Bailey Fritsch clone. Pick 43, Geelong bid on Hawthorn's Cody Anderson. So this is another inside mid. Fierce tackler. He started the season extremely well and then got ruled out with long-term injury. He was touted as a top 20 pick initially, so to slide to 43 is an absolute bargain for Hawthorn. Geelong then follow up with their own pick, and this is Xavier Ivicic. So speedy inside mid, he can win the ball, get out the front of packs. I think another good pick for them. Kind of a poor man's Sid Draper. Similar types of players. And to top it off, local boy from the Geelong Falcons. Pick 45, Collingwood take Archer Day-Wicks. Overhead marking, small forward, who can also pressure. He's kind of like Noah Cumberland, just hopefully a bit better. Similar size, left footer, X Factor. So Collingwood, I guess a Joe Richards replacement, you can call it, after that trade. Pick 46, Melbourne take Noam Raz. So this is a long-term Stephen May replacement as a lockdown key defender. Pick 47, Richmond take Luca Grego. So more of a defensive, accountable halfback, but can also roll into the midfield. Tough and good ball user. Move on to round 3. So we've got a few Gold Coast bids being absorbed here. But Sydney with the next pick at 48, they take Josh Murphy. Another game winner, 190 centimeters, third tall, kind of in a Will Hayward mold. So he's just going to be there to develop and hopefully become a match winner for the Swans. Pick 49, Bulldogs take Clancy Dennis, so all-Australian fullback from WA. I think there's doubts over his size at 194 centimeters, but Jacob Wiedering, Stephen May, both the same height. I think Bulldogs get an absolute bargain here to find a successor to Liam Jones. Pick 50, Melbourne take Luke Urquhart, 183cm mid, very well rounded, uses the ball quite well, wins the ball prolifically, can probably be accountable for a man as well from WA. Pick 51, Collingwood take Jack O. So this is another bolter, kind of. He's moved from halfback to midfield and really thrived in that position. Prolific ball winner, solid ball user, good overhead. I think there's just worries about how his form will translate to AFL level with his size, and whether that stacks up against the bigger bodies, but it is a good speculative pick for Collingwood and their midfield in the 3rd round. Collingwood follow that up with a mature age draftee, and that's Dom Brew, so the man who captained Werribee to the premiership in the VFL, and with that famous interview where he was crying, that's the man we talk about here. Prolific ball winner, prolific tackler, I think 27 years old, mature, ready to step straight in. So yeah, another mature body for Collingwood, and they're kind of weak-ish midfield. Pick 53, GWS direct bid on Cooper Bell, the Giants Academy fullback, so Sam Taylor back up essentially. Pick 54, Geelong take Zach Johnson, so this is another speedy midfielder, injured in the latter parts of the season, but early in the season he was close to the 2nd round, so he's kind of slid a little bit with the injury, but 185cm, so really good size, considering his leg speed, and wins the ball, so good player for Geelong to take forward. Port Adelaide pick 55, they take Phoenix Hargrave, so he played senior Sandful with Sid Draper, so that's the level he's at. I think there's just doubts over his ability to play at AFL level. He's slightly slower, but he wins the ball really well in the contest, and I think Port Adelaide, with Ollie Wines getting towards the end, will try and take a speculative inside mid like Hargrave. Pick 56, Sydney take Joel Cochran, who is from their academy, direct bid, key defender, intercepts, and can lock down. Then on to round 4, Richmond with the first pick again, 57. They take Lucas Tovey, who is a lockdown key defender. So this guy can pair with Gibkiss and Taru to go forward. That trio would be pretty potent if all 3 can develop into the types of players they're projecting to be. Tovey can just lock down, kind of like Tom Lonergan, maybe in that Geelong trio, I guess. And then like Scarlett, and then and Wright as well as the more attacking key defensive posts. That's the type of combination we're thinking of here. Pick 58, North Melbourne take Oliver Warburton, more defensive, accountable mid to go along with the more attacking types such as Sheasel, LDU, McKercher, and Wardlaw. Pick 59, West Coast direct bid on Champion, a small forward X-Factor from WA, no issues there. Pick 60, Adelaide take Cade Herbert, outside midfielder, so on the wing. Was potentially a top 10 pick at the start of the year or late last year, but kind of fell away this year. But he's definitely got foot skills. He was a prolific ball winner, so he needs to try and get that back to push back up into the upper class of this draft crop, but there's still a bit of potential there, and I think Adelaide will be happy to take the punt on him. Pick 61, Carlton direct bid on Lucas Campriali. It's pretty straightforward. 62, Fremantle take Harry Charleston, so more defensive half-back. He can also attack from the Rebels. Good, solid ball user and has leg speed. Pick 63, River Stevens from North, direct bid. 64, Carlton take Ben Hopkins, a 190cm defensive mid or winger. Blake Acres kind of, hard runner, so two-way runner, long-term role player. 65, St Kilda bid on Adrian Cole. Then 66, Geelong take Gabriel Stumpf, so key forward, good hands, can lead, and a good goal kicker as well from the Northern Knights. 67, this is a massive slider, Damon Hollow, so he's played a bit of Vic Metro, and I just haven't had a suitable team pop up earlier, but Hawthorn, with the prospect of losing Finn McGuinness, I think Hollow is a good two-way runner to replace him. Then at pick 68, Gold Coast take Charlie Nichols, 197 centimetre key forward. He is a good overhead, relatively mobile as well, and can kick goals. So just a long-term project there. Pick 69, West Coast take Nathaniel Salzberger. So he's mobile midfield. This is another slider. Has had a good finish this season, can use the ball well. He could easily get taken in the second round if a team does want to do so. But yeah, he's slid out to round 5. So this is how even the draft is. Like, you can literally put players anywhere and it makes sense. But Salzberger can use the ball well. Often the more defensive mid alongside the likes of Murphy Reed and Levi Ashcroft at Sandringham Dragons. So that's the type of midfield he's been playing alongside and actually doing really well. I think he's been averaging 20 plus disposals and getting forward to kick goals as well. Solid one-on-one in the full forward line. Pick 70, Melbourne take Evan Bradley, X-Factor small forward, potentially to replace Pickett if he leaves. Pick 72, St Kilda take Elwood Peckett. 73, Essendon take Jaden Ewan. 74, Collingwood take Will Hayes, two-way runner, to replace the likes of Bytel and potentially Sidebottom going forward. 75, Reece Unwin to the Bulldogs. Started forward in the season, wasn't really noticed, then got moved into the midfield late in the season, and that's when he started making a name for himself. Started gathering the ball a lot more and putting in some more prolific performances, which I think will appear to Bulldogs as a mid-forward attacking half threat. Pick 76, Hawthorn take Jackson Artemis, so halfback / wing, lots of leg speed, solid ball user. I think he suits their game style really well in kind of the impy role. 78, or this should be 77, I think. I'll change that really quickly. James Barrett to the Cats, so he can play pretty much anywhere at 193 centimeters, a really good size. Can play third tall defender, third tall forward, plays with a midfield. He can probably develop into a winger as well at AFL level. So I think this is kind of just a pick, so Geelong have cover in all positions. And then finally, St Kilda take Lennox Hoffman with their final pick in the draft. So that is it for the draft. That's 78 picks, I believe, unless I've mislabeled something. But yeah, I think the actual draft will be around 70 to 75 picks. So I've kind of gone overboard, but it is better to go over than to undercut. So I've done a few live trades, so you guys might hate me for this, but try my best to try and make it a bit more realistic. But in the end, like, generally what I'm trying to achieve with this mock draft is to give you guys an indication of the draft ranges for all these players. For all the sliders, I've already explained them to you guys, so keep that in mind. But that is it for the draft. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts on the picks your clubs have made in this draft, whether you like them or not, and what you guys would do instead. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for future content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.